May 5th, 2011. This is another installment from Edible Acres today, showing the, I think this is around 3,000 gallon, maybe 3,300, I did some quick math on it, hand-dug pond. Just wanted to talk about what was involved and what the idea is. You can see it's here, this is on the northeast corner of the property. It's in one of the lower spots of the whole property. Let me zoom out here a little. It's a nice looking thing. This is around 8 to 10 feet wide, maybe around 18 to 20 feet long. In the center it goes down 4 feet to bedrock. We have very shallow bedrock here, so it's actually pure shale at the bottom, like a bottom of a swimming pool. And it has little ledges that go around. You can vaguely see them. This was just dug maybe 5 or 6 days ago, so it's still kind of cloudy. But there are ledges, so if it gets lower, you can walk into it. So why did we do it? What's the idea? This is a property that is prone to a lot of flooding in the early spring. The winter thaw that happens creates a tremendous amount of pools and watering lulls all over the property. So over the last few years I've been digging drainage, ways of letting this water escape down through the property, and ultimately, originally, it went through here and hit a berm and went out to the ditch along the road line and away from the property. The thought was, well, all that nutrient that's available in the early spring is just getting washed out of the property. It's going away. So I want to catch it, hold on to it. You can see this is where the original cut was, and it would just dump right down and go away, making for a very, very fertile ditch. So, last week, we plugged up this section that connected to here, and instead diverted it over to here. And there's some pictures that I'll put up about showing like the work party when we're doing it. This was 4 or 5 people for around 4 or 5 hours with 4 or 5 spades. And so yeah, less than a full day's work, more than 3,000 gallons of water storage, and a beautiful feature on the northeast corner of the property. And as a bonus, all of the material comes out and becomes designs for raised garden beds all through here. You can see this is the north line of the property. There's raised beds now all along here. Most of them have actually already been planted out to perennial version of sunflower, lemon balm, valerian, chamomile, a bunch of interesting viburnum family things like nannyberry, black haw, and hobblebush, which are all very late fall, early winter bearing crops. You can see here's one. This is a nannyberry right here. And then we've kept all the black-cap raspberries that were in. So we've got this beautiful kind of formal garden space in here now. And you can see as well there's a propagation yard. This is where I have some perennial sunflowers potted up, as well as some hops, which actually need to get in the shade. They're going through some transplant shock. And there's some fun features about this. So this was dug, connected with this, so any surface flow can dump into here. When it's full, it can overflow back to the road, but you can see I've got a cast iron lid in there right now, which blocks it just enough to let it overflow to this little guy, which comes over and hits this contour. So in other words, when this is flowing in, it can fill these beds with water, so it waters them from below, and I figure capillary action will draw that water up and into them. And I can change what's happening by either taking that out or putting it back in, or capping this if there's too much water, and eventually I'll do that again over here as well, so that the nutrient comes flying in, falls out of solution, gets held in the water, and then overflow comes back into the gardens. This will be an excellent place to grow water-loving crops. I plan on seeding this all out to watercress. This is deep enough that I might be able to get away with water lotus in there. Who knows? It's a little bit, probably a little cold for that here, but water celery is a good fit for there. We can have some fish in there. and when it's a hot day you can go swimming. Now, how do I keep this thing actually filled with water is the question, because this will eventually dry out. This actually filled with just one rainstorm the other night. It wasn't a major one, but it was a good rain, filled right on up. There goes Dove, chasing something, probably the cat. What this will ultimately be filled by on a continual basis, let's take a walk and look at it, is, I don't need to go all the way up there, way off in the distance, uphill, is our garage. The south side of that has a gutter that goes into a 55-gallon cistern. The overflow, which will be at the very top of that, goes to a 1-inch diameter pipe that's buried to here, which will fill more cisterns. Their overflow will be buried again and come straight down. You can see it's going downhill and sploosh, dump right into the pond. So any rain event during the summer, and off just that one south side of the garage, we get enough to keep that thing constantly overflowing. It's actually a nuisance because it ends up creating a lot more wetness in here than we want. All that gets directed now into the pond to feed the water-loving crops that are in there, to add nutrient for the fish, and to create irrigation for propagation yard that's going to happen there. And it's all just basically a way of dealing with what was originally a problem for the yard, and now is this beautiful feature. Would highly encourage anyone out there with a lot of standing water on their property to think about digging a pond by hand. Get a team of people out, order some pizza, get beers, whatever it is you want to do. But it's worth trying, and it is definitely doable by hand. Again, this was around 4 or 5 hours, 4 or 5 people. They came and went a little here and there. We all had a great time doing it, and now we've got this gorgeous water feature that is very, very functional. I'll post some updates once we have this thing planted out and once it clarifies a little bit and we've got some fish in there. And after a good rainstorm in June or July, when it's 80 degrees the next day, you might see a video of me taking a cannonball into that thing. So thanks for watching, and hope you have occasion to dig your own pond. It's very satisfying. This is Edible Acres. Have a lovely day.